Hi guys, welcome back to Cernys Kids.
We're gonna go to Michigan today.
Hi, we're going on our virtual road trip to Michigan today. So we're close to Michigan, although we are not going there today because number one, it's cold, but number two, we gotta stay inside. So, all right, if you go to cernysjourneys.com, go and print off your handy dandy map. It's right there on the home page, easy for you to get to. All right, let's talk about Michigan. Michigan is the 26th state that was induced, I guess that's not the right word. It was, losing my mind. In 1837, it joined the USA. We'll just go there. Its borders are Indiana, Ohio, Wisconsin, Canada, and Lake Michigan. So the cool thing about Michigan is 4 out of the 5 Great Lakes actually border with Michigan. So Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, and Lake Erie. So that's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's a lot of lakes in Michigan. I think I saw the stat. It was that there was, I can't even remember what the stat was, but there was lots of lakes, lots of water in Michigan. So it's called the Wolverine State. Do you know what a Wolverine is?
No.
Do you know? You know, funny enough, it's called the Wolverine State, and the Wolverine is an animal. It's a really kind of nasty animal.
I know it was an animal.
It's pretty furious, yeah. But there are no Wolverines that live in Michigan. There haven't been Wolverines there in years, like decades. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Kind of crazy, huh?
The Wolverine State.
The Wolverine State, but no Wolverines live there.
Wolverine.
That's very true. So, the other cool thing about Michigan, you can kind of see, not really on our map, but it's actually split into 2 pieces. So there's the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. And so a lot of people refer to Michigan as the Mitten State. So
Because it has an M. I get it.
Maybe. But it's connected by the Mackinac Bridge, so you go to Mackinac Island. And it is the only state that's actually split into 2. Is it Mackinac or Mackinac? I thought it was Mackinac. Okay, well, I guess the jury's out. I'll look afterwards. So today we're going to do a few cool things. Let's start at the Meijer Gardens. The Frederik Meijer Gardens is in, man, my husband's like throwing me off my game today, guys. Sorry. I don't know why, but I'm really thrown off today. It is really, oh my gosh, sorry guys, I cannot get it together right now for some reason.
What are you doing?
It's in Michigan, and we'll just start there, and it's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it's actually a really, really beautiful place. It's got a lot of cool things like the Japanese gardens and stuff like that. But the really cool thing I wanted to tell you about is if you go to Meijer Gardens, so it's MEIJER gardens.org, they have a lot of virtual visits. In fact, daily they have virtual visits available on Facebook and YouTube where you can go to different parts. They'll either give you a virtual tour of the site, or they'll talk to you about some of their plants or their butterflies. Butterflies. We love butterflies. So let's talk a little bit about butterflies. We like butterflies, don't we?
Yes.
They're really pretty. We tend to get butterflies. We can't get them right now, but they're probably migrating.
We saw one. When did we see one?
Was it recently?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they're migrating now, probably from Mexico. But butterflies are insects. And they actually have a 4-stage life cycle. So they start off in little eggs. They normally are laid on the plant. So butterflies eat nectar from the plant, right? And so from the plant, then they're laying eggs, and then the eggs they break open, and they hatch, and they become caterpillars.
I love caterpillars.
Yeah,
They're my favorite bug.
Yeah.
I remember when Cora found, what was it called again?
A caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
Remember what the name was? What was your name? The name of your caterpillar?
Honey.
No, that's the name of your bear.
No, that's Brownie.
Wasn't it Spiky?
Oh yeah, I love
Spiky.
her. She
Anyways,
died.
Spiky died.
She's
But
very
accurate.
Anyways, after they're a caterpillar, they go into a cocoon. They spin themselves into a cocoon. And they sit there for a long time.
I found a cocoon.
Yep. So depending on the butterfly or
One
moth.
fell on me and I was so scared.
Yeah.
And I ran back to the house.
Did you?
Yeah.
So the caterpillar will then get into a cocoon. And the cocoon, depending on whether it's a butterfly or a moth, will the span of the time that they're in the cocoon.
I found a cocoon, but Daddy didn't know if it was alive and he cut it open and I was not.
Okay, we're not supposed to say all the mean things. Actually, that was really kind of crazy because the cocoon stayed there for over a year. We had no idea if it was alive or not, so we kind of messed with it. We shouldn't talk about that. But anyways, after the cocoon, it's called metamorphosis, and then it becomes a butterfly. And as soon as everything kind of goes off their wings, they start to fly. They fly. So they can live, depending on the species, a week to a year. And a lot of them do migrate. So monarch butterflies, which we know, they come from Mexico. And then they go back down to Mexico. They like the warmth. So they kind of migrate to and from warm climates, depending on the season. So, yeah. So the cool thing about this is if you go to MeijerGardens.org, you can go and check out some of their butterflies virtually that they have in their greenhouses. So really kind of cool.
I want to go to a butterfly house.
Well, maybe we will.
When?
We'll watch something after this. How about that? So then let's move on to other things about Michigan. So we're going to talk about two different Fords. So the first Ford is Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford was actually our 38th president. And they had, they have the Gerald Ford Library and Museum in Michigan. It's actually in two different locations. However, the interesting about Gerald Ford is, so he was president from 1974 to 1977, but he was not elected to be president. He took over presidency when Nixon resigned in 1974. So he then again, a few years later, served as a vice president too, but was not elected for that either. So he's the only president that was never really elected for two seats of office. So anyways,
getting elected for free but being the president?
It's kind of strange. So again, if you go on to the website for his presidential library, you can go and do some virtual tours. You can go and do some other fun things too that they have. One of the things that I think is there's a link to inside the 1976 presidential campaign. So it's like a 9-minute video on really the front to back on presidential campaigns. So could be kind of interesting, especially because this actually comes from the presidential library. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. But the last thing we're going to go do is the Henry Ford Museum.
What?
I know. So we got Gerald Ford, who actually, by the way, was not born Gerald Ford. But that's another story. And now we're going to talk about Henry Ford.
Oh.
So Henry Ford Museum is in Detroit. Do you know what Henry Ford is known for?
No. No.
Do you drive in a car every day?
No. Yes.
Well, do you drive in a car as a passenger when we go places?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of cars are there? Do you know there's like
SUVs.
Honda, Toyota, Tesla, Maybach,
Infinite. The car that we have.
Infinities. Okay, what is there a Ford car?
Four-wheeler.
There's Ford, right. So Henry Ford is the founder of Ford Motor Company. And he has a really, really cool museum, like really cool museum. I've been to it long time ago. But the cool thing about Henry Ford is he was the first person to create an automobile or a car that was affordable to the middle class. So everybody, or most people, could actually then have a car. So how he did this was he produced or started the assembly line technique. So when you start with something, you start with a bar, and then you add the wheels, and then you add the top, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So he was the first person to think about mass production. And so the first car that was ever introduced was the Model T, and that was in October 1st of 1908. So, very cool. If you go to the museum, so it's thehenryford.org, and you can go and look at stories of innovation. So, he's got a really neat, story. He knew a lot of interesting people, and so, like Thomas Edison and those kind of people. He kind of had some takes on a lot of those things and actually did a lot of work here. And a lot of things that he actually did then actually still apply today. So you can go look at stories of innovation inside the Henry Ford Museum. There's, I think this is cool, but I watch CBS Sunday Morning. Remember the Sun on the Sunday morning?
Oh, yeah.
So Mo Rocca has a thing, it's called Innovation Nation, and it's actually through the Henry Ford Museum. So all of those episodes are also on the website too. So again, definitely recommend checking it out. They also have things on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for kids of all ages. So from little kids to big kids. So some of the things that I see, there's a Journey, Henry Ford and the Model T activity. They have, let's see, the inventor of emotional emojis board game. So they have an inventor who came up with emojis, a board game that they're going to be talking to this Friday. So there's a lot of cool things that they have in there. So definitely go check it out and see what you're maybe interested. So guys, what do you think?
Fun.
Fun?
Mm-hmm. Good.
All right. I think we're done with Michigan for the day.
Like and subscribe. Bye. Thumbs up.
Bye everyone. Like and subscribe.
Bye. Thumbs up.